When you can actually see your profit for the year in dollars and cents, it gets you more in the notion of selling corn, knowing that I can lock in a $50,000 profit or whatever the profit is. You want to lock it in. If I know I can make that much profit in a year, I will be in business next year.
Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. It's April 25th, 2014. To my right is Cody Bills and I'm Brock Shimbino. We had a mostly positive day in Chicago to end the week. Let's turn over the quotes to see how we ended. Corn was up 5 3/4 cents. Soybeans, the leader to the upside, up 26 cents. Wheat in Chicago up 11 1/4 cents today. You know, Cody, it was a nice way to end the week, seeing some nice positive gains. But let's take a look at that chart that we've been following all week long here. You can see on this July soybean daily chart, the last couple of bars are what we want to pay attention to here. And that blue trend line is the line that we've been watching here. The support area was around 1465. Seems like it held here for the near term.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, take a look at the last 5-6 bars here. You'll notice that all throughout the week we were trading lower, and then we got right along that trend line. We talked about this yesterday, about the fact that we're on that trend line, which has been support really since the beginning of January. And then not only that, but you have the fact that we were selling off all week, going into Friday. I wouldn't be surprised. I mentioned this yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised if it bounced a little bit as people took some of those short positions off the table going into the weekend. Combine that with the fact that it's a critical support level, a very important price level, a battleground, if you will, and I think that's why we got a little bit of a bounce here today. Fundamentally, I don't think anything has changed between yesterday and today, but I think just that combination of technical factors helped drive this market a lot higher than a lot of us expected it would go.
Something that could have been influencing this July contract just a little bit is we're coming up to first notice day on the May contracts. We could have seen some positions being rolled into July as well. That might have pushed us a little bit higher today as well. Something that traders and producers are going to be watching over the weekend is going to be the weather. If you take a look at what the weather is, or what analysts are expecting throughout the weekend for precipitation, you can see here on this weather map provided by Planalytics that not much is anticipated for tomorrow, but into Sunday and into Monday is when the real weather and the wetness is going to come back to the Midwest. So planters should be rolling pretty heavy tomorrow, but later on this weekend we could see some delays start to pop up. And really the thing that we're going to be watching on Monday is the crop progress report. That's going to be out at 3 p.m. Central Time. The early indications are about 20% of the corn crop is anticipated to be planted. So that's kind of the number to watch as we head into that report. If we have something substantially higher than that, it could have a little bit of a bearish tone on the market on Monday. If we have something a little bit lower, it could be a little bit of bullish sentiment for the bulls out there.
Yeah, it sounds fair enough. Now, today let's talk, it is Friday, and we do talk a lot about basis on Friday. Let's take a look at the weekly wrap-up for basis. One thing to note here, this is kind of the weekly change from the 17th to the 24th. For basis, you'll notice soybeans top left here and corn top right. Really, the big takeaway here, other than the fact that corn was up a penny here on the week, soybeans was up 2 cents. I wouldn't be surprised if soybeans was up simply because we did see the futures market selling off a little bit. That oftentimes puts a little bit of a bid in the basis market, and as they try and really entice grain out of farmers' bins. But really, I think the big theme this week is that Northwest. We know that the first barge crossed Lake Pepin just south of Red Wing on the 17th last week, and you can really start to see the effects in the northwestern part of the U.S., in North Dakota, in Minnesota, in South Dakota. These areas are starting to get a little bit of a rebound, particularly for soybeans that had been really so depressed by rail logistic problems, and now finally you get barge routes opening up to St. Paul, and you're getting a little bit of that grain leaving the region. I think that we're going to start to see the Northwest, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota all start to pop here in basis as we move toward planting. One thing to keep in mind is that on Monday we saw only 1% planted in South Dakota, and typically we see about 3%. In North Dakota, typically we see around 3%, but we saw nothing planted in North Dakota reported on Monday. And then in Minnesota, here's a situation where typically it's 9%. We saw really not a whole lot planted on Monday. the fact that we're now moving into that time period when we're going to see planters rolling, I think that's going to be a very positive part to basis. That's going to be very positive as producers are not able to go out and deliver grain to the elevators. That's going to allow, I think, this basis, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota, to start popping here very shortly.
You know, it was a mixed week across the grains as far as the futures are concerned. Seem to have a little bit of support coming into the basis markets. If you have any questions for us, give us a call over here at 877-472-4607. As always, you can head to our website, take a free no obligation trial of the mobile trading app that we now have available. Thanks for joining us on the weekly wrap up. If you have any questions about what we talked about, head to our website grainhedge.com or give us a call at 877-472-4607.